before we go any further, Spud?
Well, one of the jewels of the 1990s, Brian, let's face it. Big
yes.
Glenn Jackovic.
The
jewel. Glenn Jackovic over at WA, premiership teams, 92, 94.
Papers were full of it.
Big, strong, bustling defender, took the game on, and head-to-head with the king, Wayne Carey.
Yep.
16 times they played on each other. I didn't realise that. Did you know that, Duck?
No idea.
And anyway, I was looking forward to open mic because I thought Jackovic, he's going to talk about the duck and the jewels. And I thought, 16 times he'd win a few, break even probably throughout the career. But I'm led to believe that he had a really good resounding wins over the duck, because this is what Glenn Jackovic said on open mic.
My guess is that you played on the duck 15 to 18 times in your career. Number, roughly?
I think it was around about that, 16 or 17
I reckon
times.
you know the answer to this. It's a difficult one, but you've always been honest when you're talking about yourself. How would you have scored it at the end?
Oh, it's pretty close. It would have been...
No, you don't mean that. You're fibbing now.
It would have been about 14-2.
He'll be in before we finish this.
Yeah, I know.
Boy, oh boy.
Well,
Duck,
14-2.
Quite a sledging.
I'm glad he giggled after it, because is he serious? 14-2.
He was serious because he
Very
did back over it again and without the laugh later on the same segment.
Well,
he 14-2.
Well, I've always said this, Spud.
You've gone a bit red, Duck.
And I've always said this, Spud, that
Gone red.
well, it's way easier to punch it than it is mark it, for starters. And
That's true.
Yeah, and also if you've got any ability, you end up forward. He never did that. He always got down back. And I remember a few games specifically where I dominated. Now I don't know what a domination.
Not a
in
win,
particular,
but a domination.
Domination.
But 14-2.
14-2.
Do
Well,
you think that's true?
no.
We need to put this on record now, because that's
well,
what's happening over in WA.
I wouldn't have thought even close to 14-2.
Are you insulted by that?
Absolutely insulted by that. And I think Jacko, I'll run into Jacko. The other, I've got a function with him in about
14 out of
6
16,
weeks.
he says he's smacked
14
you.
out of 16. Well, have you got anything to back up? Have you?
No,
done
well,
any-
that's true. I just thought I'd read to you. You've got a couple of stats that Ash Chua, does it?
Well, he reckons Carey's good games against Jackovic total 5, and in the good games he's talking 19, 20 possession games, where he's picked up a couple of Brownlow votes, 5 or 6 marks a game.
Hang on.
5 good games, not wins.
These are
5
Brownlow
good
votes
games.
as well.
Sparta's just handed this to me. So there's a game where I've had 21, 11 marks, 3 goals.
Yeah, it's a pretty good game. Isn't it?
There's a game, 21 disposals, 15 marks, 5 goals.
Well,
There's
that's
another
two Brownlow
game.
votes. That's a pretty good game.
There's another
Where's Jacko
game.
on this?
Well, there's the two.
Yeah.
There's the two.
There's
No,
another
any
game.
more?
Hang on, 19 disposals, 10 marks, 3 goals, 4.
Yeah, pretty good. Set up.
okay,
Boys.
there's
There's another game in 98, 20 disposals, 11 marks, 5 goals, 1.
Yeah, we got 3 Brownlow votes for that. So
There's another game, 18 disposals, only the 5 marks, but 5 straight
And,
goals.
and those 3 all at Subies.
Maybe it was 14-2 your way, Doug.
Then there's a couple way back in 92, 18 disposals, 11 marks. I only kicked the 1, but the team only kicked 10. So, but 18 to 11 marks.
what about the
PT.
semi-final, 97?
Semi-final 97, 16, 5 marks, 2 goals. We won by 13 points. Maybe break even, Jacko. I think Jacko may be drinking a little bit of his own bathwater.
But this was commonly known that Jacko had his number,
And
Brian,
this is,
so
well, look, don't get me wrong. He's one of the best players that I ever played on. But as I said before, to actually line up... And
Just one of the best, not the
ball,
best.
I'll tell you the other thing about Jacko, is Jacko was a gun player, but it wasn't Jacko that beat me. Look who was around him. Brennan, McKenna, Worsfold. I mean, I wasn't even worried about Jacko. I was worried about all the other blokes around me.
I think you're Jacko's whipping boy.
They had the best defence. They had the best defence in the competition.
He's trying to justify why Djakovic has beaten him now.
Hang on.
You've
Don't
dirtied up here,
those
Doug.
stats back up a little bit?
They do, but,
You've bristled here.
And by the way, the 2 times I played on you, Spud, I got 5 Brownlow votes.
it's not about me. Thanks for that.
No, I do like
All right.
Jacko. The other stat that Glenn won't tell you, and I'm not. This isn't something to be proud of, but back in the day, like Bristol
Did he give
back
any
in-
lip?
back in '92? Stop giving lip. We had a healthy respect for one another, obviously, but they were an amazing defence. But back in the 90s, it was professional. You're allowed to go out and have a couple of beers afterwards. And I found out later that there was Jacko never ever during his whole career went out after a game and had a couple of beers.
Is
he was
that right?
completely alcohol-free for his whole footy season. And I worked out, and I went back over my stats, and I worked out there wasn't one weekend where I didn't have a beer. So there were pretty big differences between
and in BT's career, not one Friday night.
Take it a step further.